Here's an interesting fact. The most popular meat on the planet is pork, and our Alberta-grown pork is of the highest quality. To find out more, we head east on the number 1 to Bassano, then follow the sign to the Village of Rosemary. It's there where we'll find Spragg's Meat Shop.
Hi, I'm Bonnie Spragg, and I'm a pig farmer.
Hi, I'm Greg Spragg. I'm a pig farmer with a meat shop. Bonnie and I met at a singles group at church.
He was working on a pig farm, and I was farming out here with my dad and my brother, and yeah, we just connected because we were both into doing something in agriculture, and it grew from there.
When Bonnie and I got married, we bought this, it used to be an old dairy farm, and the goal was to put up a barn and start raising pigs. But we didn't have the money to raise, or we didn't have the money to put up a barn, so we went to a seminar on raising pigs outside.
We started playing around with how to get pigs growing outside on pasture, how to do a complete production system. We were doing the crops and everything that I had been growing up with farming, but he was working as an employee in a pig barn, and so I thought it would be fun to give him 3 pigs of his own for a birthday present. I was trying to keep it a secret because I knew 2 people I could get pigs from.
It was one of those days when everything goes wrong and it's pretty squirrely, and finally Bonnie said we have to go to Bassano, and I said I don't have time. I have a lot of stuff to fix and do. And
he couldn't figure out why, and he was mad, and so I had to tell him that there was 3 pigs coming Saturday morning, and we needed feed from Bassano to feed them. And he was like, yeah, but I don't have anything ready, and so he spent all night getting stuff ready for his 3 pigs coming in the morning.
We have at any time about 600 to 700 pigs here.
We kind of count in weeks, how many pigs we need every week, and we're somewhere in that 40 to 50 hogs a week being processed. They're in a heated barn up until they're 50 pounds. Then we move them outside, and they've got full access to run over a few acres through the rest of their life. They get straw bedding. In the winter time, when it's cold, they'll burrow into that to stay warm. They've got free choice at any given time through the summer. It's between what's growing on the pasture and a barley faba bean ration. We grow the barley and faba beans. We grind that and give that to them in self-feeders so they can eat anytime they want to. In the wintertime, the grass from the pasture is replaced with alfalfa hay that we've baled. So they've still got that portion of green material in their diet, so the flavor doesn't change in the meat. Challenges were trying to convince the other farmers that this was a good, just not that we had to convince them, but just everybody was shaking their heads at us and like, you guys are kind of crazy. And we have proved them wrong.
Tuesday, I get up at 4 in the morning and I close the pigs in because they're all free range right now. And we need to close them in so I can catch them. Then we sort them, we load them up, and I take them into Brooks to get slaughtered. From there they cool, and the next morning we load the carcasses into our refrigerated truck and we come out to the meat shop. We do everything but the slaughter, so we do all the processing, so we cut the chops, we brine the bacons and hams, and so we do everything after that. We do all the processing. We do a pork jerky, a sweet and spicy, so it's brown sugar and some cayenne. We soak that overnight, and then it's put onto racks, and then we put that in the smokehouse. We smoke for about 2 hours, and then we dry for about 4. Many people haven't heard of pork jerky. You hear of beef jerky and stuff, so it's a softer meat. It's not as stringy, and the bite's easier on the pork jerky, so it's kind of it's a hit.
Our product stands out because we've got control from right through the system. We're raising the pigs, they've got their special diet, they've got their outside exposure, adds more flavor into the pork. Then we're also, because we're doing all the processing and the retail sales into the farmer's market, we can get that pork through the system so it tastes fresh on your plate. I never thought pigs had so much character until we started to put them outside. And every single one of them will act a little bit differently. They'll all run away in a big herd, and then they'll come back and they're like, what were we scared of? It is so much fun raising them outside.
It's a challenge too, because you've heard of pig-headed. If you're trying to move pigs around, I understand where that saying came from.
Bonnie and Greg opened their on-site meat store in 2005. It's the one-stop shop for all things pork.
When we first started there, it was just Bonnie and I working in there. As the years have gone, I think we're on our 6th year now. There's at least 10 employees there. It's a pretty busy place. I see people on the street and they're like, oh, are you guys busy? And they don't even understand how busy we are and you know what it takes to get that pork chop, you know, from the pasture, that pig in, to get that into Calgary. So it's challenging, but it's really rewarding. We carry everything pork, so we sell from pig feet, pig tails, to pork tenderloin, to, you know, loin roast, pork shoulder roast. Anything you can think of pork, we cut or we make.
Pork it's got so many more uses than you think of, like when your bacons and your hams and your sausage, and all the best sausage comes from pork. It's easy to use any kind of pork.
We always got inquiries by restaurants. It was very difficult to supply a restaurant because a restaurant can use a lot of pork, bacons, pork chops, pork shoulder. As we've grown here, the few restaurants that we do, there's about 8 or 10 restaurants that we supply. They've grown with us and they work with us in getting the product, and it's really starting to take off, and we're focusing more and more on the wholesale restaurant part of the business. We do the Kingsland Farmers Market and the Calgary Farmers Market. We also, in the summer, there's 2 seasonal. We do the Brooks Farmers Market and the Millerville Farmers Market. That's kind of the first one we started with about 9 years ago.
We started going into farmers markets fairly early on. We realized we had to move out of selling it into commodity markets and selling the pigs into niche marketing to actually make the whole system work. Started going into farmers markets, and you don't get known by your names necessarily, you get known by what you produce. So we were the pork guys or the pork people, or right from the first season at the farmers markets, because they knew us. Well, we got to go get our pork from the pork guys. We got to go get our chicken from the chicken guys, and so we just kind of kept the name of we're the pork guys. I love agriculture. I love farming. Everything from crops to pigs. It's a lot of fun doing the system from beginning to end, and building that up from square one. The diversity of this life is just a lot of fun. It's not work anymore. We just get up in the morning and do something different every day.
This is what we do. We eat, sleep, breathe this. I'd rather do this any day than work.
Spragg's Meat Shop is part of the enterprising spirit that helps make the Village of Rosemary a great place to live and work.